Enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You'll never know till it's over.
Hello everybody. A little cold out here in the garage. I decided to do it out here because it's kind of loud in the house right now. Got a little trick I want to show you with leather and money at the end. But I'm going to do this video first. And I'll show this little trick. I've been working on it. Today I want to talk about sex in the prison and different things that have to do with that. When I first got to the walls, they showed porn on the movie channels. We had 2 channels and they showed them on there. We could also put like posters of women up. I never had any up, but a lot of people did. And when I got, while I was there was a lot of gay people there. Most of them was wanted to be. There was some that was maybe forced into it, but most of them wanted to be gay. And, you know, they used like that when they came to prison. And one even said one time that he was going to get out and come right back because he had it made in prison. I don't understand that myself. But anyway, I got transferred to Farmington, and they had HBO down there, and they finally took that off because they said it was a safety and security to the institution issue. It wasn't so much about them showing the sexual stuff on there. It was a couple prison shows that was on there. I think Oz was one of them. Excuse me. But it was during that time, I was there like 6 years, and it was during that time that it slowly changed, and they stopped letting people put posters on the walls because it was offending the women. Like I said, my thing was never to put posters on the walls or anything like that, but I feel that you're in a men's prison. You know you're going to see things, you're going to hear things, see things you might not want to see, but you took that job. And that's just the way I feel about it. You know? You knew what you was getting into. Maybe you didn't know what you was getting into, but you're in a men's prison. Not a child's prison, you know, juvenile, whatever. This is adult male prison. So you're going to be offended by what you see? Doesn't make sense. And they eventually, it got to where that people couldn't even have magazines, you know, that they wanted. But I told you before that sexual violence in prison was rare, you know. The thing about dropping the soap in the shower, you always hear don't drop the soap in the shower. That's more of a, I've said this before, it's more of a myth, and it's a joke really in the prisons, at least in Missouri. I know in other places like Alabama, things like this are common, but the dropping the soap thing was, you'd hear, if you're going to a shower, somebody might make it, one of your friends might make a joke saying, don't drop the soap, and then just laugh, you know. So it was more of a joke. And, but you had people who were, I guess, afraid to stand up for themselves. Some would pay for protection. And this may be through canteen or maybe through sexual favors. But I never could understand that, you know. Why would you, especially if you had a lot of time, why would you put yourself through that for all those years just because you're afraid to fight, you know. Look, I didn't like fighting, but I would if I had to. And I just don't understand, you know. People paying for protection, you know, in one way or another. Some people, I mean, you could see it sometimes in their faces, you know, they was just miserable. Others, it seemed like they just got used to it and it became part of their lifestyle. You know, they dealt with it the best they could. I don't understand it, but people was always asking me, like on court, there was this question that came up, is prison one big sexual orgy? No, it's not. And the one thing that I can't remember the rule it was rule something or another, but this is when like guards would go by a cell and they might catch a couple, two cellies, you know, doing their thing, you know, and they get a sexual misconduct violation. But you don't have to be with another person to get a sexual misconduct violation. I mean, you can be in Farmington, there was a thing where you had to put a thing in the window that meant don't look in, and even the guards respected that, you know. You could be using the bathroom, you could be looking at a magazine, you know, doing your thing. But if a guard caught you doing that, and you was like either trying to get the guard to see on purpose, or it could even be an accident, they could write you up for a sexual misconduct. And I never got one of those, but I knew people who did. And there's some people who, they call it gunning. That's where they, you know, masturbate while nurses or stuff are going by, or when the nurse comes up to the door to pass out meds. And then you have some, like this usually happened in the hole, that would like lay in bed like they're asleep with their thing hanging out, you know, thinking that's going to impress them, whoever's seeing it, you know. And then you had some that did, you know, guards are always, especially in the hole, had to be careful because they could get urine thrown on them, feces thrown on them, or even other stuff, you know. There's been blood, other things. Like, it's weird, but I can't imagine being a guard and having any of that thrown on me and not being, I mean, angry. So the ones that happens to, I can understand them being angry about it, you know. But I don't know if I could act professionally if that was done to me. I'd just I'd lose it probably. But you know, they got what they call playing freaks in prison in Missouri. You know, people just joke around and say things and do things, and they got a bunch of guys I worked out with and hung around with. They got to where they was teabagging one another, and that's when you, like, if you caught one of them sitting on the ground or something, you stood over them, like right above them, and I told them, "You guys do that to me, it's on." Now I ain't talking about just fist. You know, I'm gonna take a piece of, we'll take a piece, put it in you. And they said, man, you gonna go to that extreme just over a joke? Yeah, I am, because I don't play like that. I did a video not long ago. Most of it was just photos of stabbings and stuff, but there was another article with it that showed how rape was real bad in Alabama. And so, you know, I'd done a video a long time ago saying that rape is not as common as people think it is. It does happen, but it's not that common. Well, I have to clarify that and say, well, that's only from Missouri, because apparently in Alabama and who knows, maybe other states, it's quite common. And that's real sad, you know. They got a thing called Priya. I can't remember what that's an acronym for. But I remember when that came out and they were saying, you know, and it's not just inmate on inmate. They're saying you can call that if it's staff on inmate. And the thing about that is, when it first came out, they saying you would be anonymous. You can remain anonymous if you want to. My thing was, so what if this happened to you and you wanted to report it? How could you remain anonymous? And there's no way you can. Also, there was a couple instances of people calling it and saying they'd been assaulted by staff, and it wasn't true. They was just making it up. So I don't know if this Priya thing's a good idea. Though I haven't done enough study on it or anything to know if it's really working or if it's cut down that sexual assaults or whatever. But if I was in prison and that happened to me, I ain't calling Priya. I ain't going to get a hold of Priya or whatever that is. I'm going to handle it myself, if I'm alive to do so. That's all I got for you today on that. Now let's see if I can get this to work. Now at the walls, I had done this. Of course, I couldn't use money because we didn't have money back then. But or in the prison, you know. And then I've forgotten all about it until I got out and I seen it in tandy leather. But the guy at the walls in the hobbycraft that was doing it, he wasn't even using leather. He was using 2 cards. And I got out and I seen it done with a thing made of leather. And I got thinking about that, and I thought, well, I can make this even better. Not the trick itself, but the thing that was made, because I thought it had too many lacing done. So I made a real quick one. This is not real fancy, but the next one is going to look a little better. But anyway, see this? So you lay your money in there like this. And it's like that. It's like that. It's just a little simple trick, you know. There's other little things that I'm thinking about doing with leather too that I learned. I think about making some dice with leather. I heard that can be done, and I was thinking about doing that, but I don't know. Just little fun things to do, you know. So I want to thank you for watching, and if you want to see more leather stuff, let me know, and catch you next time. Bye.